So really, it is time to return to the office. That's what the Biden administration is telling federal employees, making clear they must, quote, substantially increase in-office work. The new guidance directed at federal agencies comes as the COVID-19 public health emergency is officially set to end next month. Let's bring our friend, Chief Scientist of Workplace Culture at Culture Partners, Jessica Kriegel. So nice to see you this Friday morning. This new guidance, I guess, is mostly directed toward workers in the D.C. metro area. That's about 15% of all federal employees. A lot of other parts of the country have already been more in office. What kind of signal does this send?
It's a negative signal to employees that what they want, which is clearly to work from home, does not matter. And that what the business wants, and by business I mean leaders, is most important. And this is cognitive bias in action in the workplace. Leaders believe that perhaps productivity is suffering because people are working remotely. And as a result, they're trying to take the only action that they know how, which is to force people back into the office. And unfortunately, it backfires. We've already seen what happens. People have been trying this for the last 2 years, and it does create negative consequences for the organization's culture.
Yeah, they're getting creative, too, because they have to retain workers, but their workers have new expectations in the world post-COVID. The Wall Street Journal reports the law firm Davis, Polk & Wardwell is saying that bonuses could be cut if employees do not come to the office as often as required. J.P. Morgan this week also says bankers should work five days a week in the office. Is this a good strategy, especially when you look at the survey that finds almost a third of hybrid workers, they're willing to take a pay cut to be fully remote?
Well, it's the classic carrot versus stick strategy approach. They are using the stick, unfortunately, which means they're saying, we're going to take your pay if you don't show up. What about the alternative? What if they said, we will increase your bonus and give you extra compensation if you do show up more often? That would be a very different experience, which would lead to less attrition, less quiet quitting, which is one of the consequences of forcing people back into the office, and perhaps less reduction in diversity, which is another major consequence of this action. So it doesn't make any sense. It's not the kind of boss I would want to work for.
It's so interesting. There's such a disconnect between what bosses feel and how employees feel. I can't remember a time in my career when there's been such a difference. So many bosses want people back in the workplace, in the office. And sometimes they say it's for equity and diversity reasons. It's for a lot of different reasons. But that, you're saying that there's kind of a new reality here. And we have this recent poll that shows that fewer people are working fully at home, but more people are working a hybrid schedule compared to last year. What does that tell you about the workplace trend, I guess, post-pandemic?
Well, we're balancing out right now at around 30% of people working from home. But what did the Fortune 500 just release? That last year was the most profitable year for the Fortune 500 and the highest revenues in the history of that study. So what we're seeing is productivity did not affect our ability to create profits, and yet people are being forced back into the office for fear of lack of productivity, not for the reality of it. And so many studies have shown that our productivity actually increased when we started working from home.
All right, Jess Kriegel, nice to see you. Have a great weekend. Thanks for dropping by on a Friday.